is a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine.
Paint with every vision, dance in new directions, explode to new heights in your mind.
I will rise up with you today.
Lift up my voice
and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AGNT Speaks, where we come to you each week live from our various places to create a conscious conversation. So it's a delight to gather together here today. If you want to learn more about AGNT Speaks, please visit agnt.today. So we are here as your leadership council. I am Reverend Erin McCabe, and I serve at Unity Village Chapel at Unity headquarters in Missouri. And that is the spiritual ministry I come to you from. And then each week I invite someone from our AGNT Leadership Council to connect with a conscious conversation that connects us to what's happening in our world today and spiritual practices that can ground us, awaken consciousness, and inspire action. So with that, if you would like to get up close and personal, feel free to hop into the Zoom room. In order to do that, you just look at the event posting and register to hop into the Zoom room, and we continue this conversation a little more intimately, taking questions, prayer requests, anything that you have that you want to roll around as far as spiritual perspective today. So feel free to jump into the Zoom room, and feel free to also host a watch party, sharing this post with friends that you think might be interested in having conscious conversations. So with that said, it is my delight to welcome one of my dear friends, the Reverend Kevin Ross. He serves out at Unity of Sacramento, where they do so much good work. He is there with his family, his incredibly beautiful and intelligent wife, who is a rock star of her own, and then his amazing children. And so he comes to us today live from Sacramento. I know that he does have a new book out. I was impressed during this pandemic time. He came out with a children's book, The Optimistic Seed, and then he just came out with a new book with his associate minister, Reverend Eric, and it is about mindfulness, and it's about pausing and taking time each day. So that book helps you kind of walk through a spiritual practice about being present and mindfulness, meditation, creating space in your day and in your life. So Kevin, it's so great to have you here. I'm always just delighted when you are our guest on the show today. So what do you have for us?
Wow. Well, thank you, Reverend Rev Erin. I'm so glad for that warm and delicious introduction. It is good to be with you today. Since you did such a wonderful ramp up of the new book, maybe I should share one of the readings from that today. I thought
sure.
Ground us a little bit in why we put this together. Rev Eric and now I do have two Rev E's in my life, Rev Eric and Rev Erin. You know who I prefer, so he's not watching, so you don't have to. Have to worry about that. But I've known Rev Eric, for the last 30 years or more, and we have the privilege, as you mentioned, of tag teaming and serving together in Sacramento at Unity of Sacramento International Spiritual Center. And over the last few years, we have seen, I like to use the term, the screws tighten on people's charge and challenge to be a force for good in the world. There have been so many things happening sociologically that has challenged folk, and lately, this very latest incident of witnessing an insurrection at the Capitol, George Floyd, all of these things, and of course, the pandemic that we're living through is literally flooding us with phone calls that we haven't seen in the time that we've been together in ministry. It's about 5 years now. We're getting more calls of people reporting anxiety, depression, suicide. And in this present pandemic, there is lots of talk about sheltering in place. There's lots of talk about protecting ourselves with the mask, getting the vaccine. And so all of that is wonderful, but there's this missing piece that our mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. There's not much talk about what do we do about this. It seems to be just a gaping hole and void. And it's getting more and more real that people are having a challenge coping in this moment. You got folks who are new thought folks who right now don't want to be positive. Right now, they don't want to look on the bright side and to have that our normal positive idealistic outlook. And they're telling me that. You have many people who um, are seniors who are reaching out, and like one lady did just the other day. Let me just pause and share with you about this precious lady who called. She says, Rev Kev, the isolation, the loneliness is, if I had to describe it, it's a stabbing loneliness. It's a consistent, persistent pain that I can't turn off. And I'm already estranged from um, my relatives. They really didn't come to see me before the pandemic. Now I don't get to see them at all. And I just want to know, longtime New Thought practitioner, I want to know, if I take my life, will I still get to be with God in the afterlife? I said, are you considering taking your life right now? She says, if I can still be with God in the afterlife, I think that's what will relieve the pain. So I asked her this question. I said, well, I can't answer that question for you, but let me ask you a question. If you had to spend eternity with your present and predominant state of consciousness as it is right now, that be aching loneliness, the brutal isolation, the sense of not belonging and not being careful. If that was how you got to spend eternity with your predominant consciousness to follow you for eternity, would you choose to do that? And she said, well, absolutely not. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do that. I said, well, here's what I know for sure. You will spend eternity with you. You will spend eternity with you. And so we had an opportunity to speak to her and help her shift it being about her receiving. And we asked her, well, would you be willing to read to people who are also alone and may not have visitors? And when we shifted her perspective from all the focus being on her to how can I be of service, and it opened her up and she did not take her life. So what we are getting is that people need some breathing space. So this is what inspired us to provide a tool, create a tool during this pandemic. So I want to read the dedication because I think it'll give some context. And then I want to share with you one of the readings from Breathing Space and maybe talk about it a little bit. It says, to a breathless world, weary with the fatigue of a double pandemic, may these pages offer you a safe space to exhale, rebuild, and repossess your breath, and the promise it is for humanity's future. And so our intention with this work and with offering this tool is to support people with the repossession of their breath from all of the ways in which it is being consumed by fear, doubt, terror, pandemic, all the stuff that's collecting our breath. And so we want people to take it back. The other thing that we're intentionally, our intention here is to support people with a 15-minute a day practice, okay? Something you can do every day, just a little something you can do every day. So what we've done is we've combined meditation, a meditation with journaling, two of my favorite spiritual modalities. I have my journals from when I was 12 years old. And you know what part of my kids' inheritance is going to be? They're going to get the father's journals, and they're going to get all the tea. You know, you thought that Meghan and Prince Harry gave the tea. They're going to get all of the tea from 12 years old and up. But it has been a practice for me of, and I think this is something that everyone can engage in, to sort out the stuck places in our inner conversation. Okay. That's what journaling allows you to do. It allows you to process it. It allows you to see the files that are running your soul, and then to be able to step back from that and then make the choice to elevate from there. Okay. So this reading I want to offer is called Voice. And we've outlined this in alphabetical order to make it simple. So you can start at any point. But this one is called Voice. I channel my vision, my values, and my views through the power of my voice. And so it begins with the declaration. I channel my vision, my values, and my views through the power of my voice. And for the third time, I channel my vision, my values, and my views through the power of my voice. And it reads, every soul that moves through the earth school is a bright, unfolding idea sent to be a unique expression and extension of spirit. Our individual journeys give us greater and greater insight into who we have truly come here to be. Our experiences, be they easy or difficult, lengthy or brief, random or significant, are shaping us and opening us to our most authentic selves. It is in coming to know, love, and accept our authentic selves that our true voice emerges. The voice is more than the acoustic sound that emanates from speech. Our voice is our fully unified and integrated self. It is an invisible expression of who we are, free from contradiction, falsehood, and fear. It can be found in our artistic expression, our activism, and our academic body of work. Our voice is our verbal signature on life's most important issues. When we find the voice of the genuine within us, we access the power to call the world we see with our mind's eye into visible manifestation. And then there's a reflection question that kind of starts a prompt into the meditative practice. When you use your voice, what difference is made on the planet? So I want to just kind of comment on this particular reading, because right here and now, this period that we're living through can either break us or make us. It can break us or make us. You know, circumstances can either come to help us birth what's within us that's seeking to be expressed in its most authentic form, or it can crush us. It can stop us. And in this time where we are, my invitation to us is to allow it to make us better, not bitter, better, not bitter, better, not bitter, better, not bitter. And the better that I'm speaking of is this better, greater, higher expression of your soul and of yourself. Who is the you that was born for such a time as this? Who is the you that was sent and meant to be here now? Who is that one? Where is that one? And will that real one allow the pressure to reveal the splendor of your soul? So this is an opportunity, I believe, for us to find our true selves, our authentic selves, the next highest vision and version of ourselves, and let this pressure release our inner splendor. You know, someone said, bring me pressure and bring me heat, because pressure makes diamond and fire makes pure gold. Pressure makes diamonds and fire makes pure gold. And so, what I have come to understand about our culture in particular, the American culture in particular, is that we have not been really conditioned for the long haul, to endure and experience beyond a short while. This pandemic that we're living in and through, this double pandemic around race and injustice, this is not going away like a long line at Starbucks does. You know, we can time it. Well, you know, in our appetite for instant gratification and right here, right now, give it to me quicker, faster. We are programmed to know that I can deal with certain things for a minute. But this is the kind of thing that is gestational. We can view what we're moving through as gestational, something outside of our control, something that we are inside of because we're in it because it is here to make of us more than we were when we began this process. And no, we cannot control it. No, we cannot manipulate. No, we cannot force it. But we can choose to let all of the good that's in the womb of this experience help us uncover our true voice and our true why for now. Why for now? Why for now? What do I mean by why for now? Why am I here now? What do I have to offer? What do I have to say? What do I have to contribute now? You know, and you've heard me say before, that you and I are both meant and sent to be here. And so our opportunity now to step back and reflect on what the sender had in mind in sending me here, you here, us here at this particular time. At this particular time, what did the sender have in mind for us? Could be a more practical exercise than the fear, panic, doom, gloom, pessimism, skepticism that is so prevalent in our world right now. And so the invitation is to find your voice. Find your voice. And remember, your voice in this moment, beloveds, please don't let your voice be the collection of opinions and thoughts of the people you surround yourself with. You know, right now there's a conversation about vaccination. About vaccination. There is a conversation about vaccinations and whether or not we should be take the vaccine. You know, who knows what I'm talking about? Anybody out there inside of this debate? I want you to arrive at this conclusion. What is it that is being said to you through the Spirit about this? Find your authentic voice. Don't be herded into, okay? Don't be herded into an action simply because it is the mass consciousness or the information that we're seeing from the news. What is your own verbal signature on the issue, and can you speak with it in a place of authority and clarity? The same is true for the injustice issues that we're living that we're living through right now. Have you formed a clear perspective on where you stand with the matters that are facing us right now? Have you given the time? Have you stepped back long enough to sit and center and connect with what is my soul saying? And have I truly voiced it? And so we're in an incubator. We're in a gestational period so that our souls can become more authentic, so we can give true voice, so that we can be right activists for those things that we are uniquely called to at this present time. Let me remind us all again that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I know the human experience right now is difficult, it's challenged, it's charged. But I believe that we are here for a definite purpose, and Spirit wishes to use us, or to function through as, to come to know itself as us in this particular time. But you and I get to find our true voices. And so if you would take a moment to step back and reflect on this question. Reflect on this question. When you use your voice, what difference is made on the planet? When you use your voice, not when the government uses your voice, not when family members use your voice, not when the news media uses your voice, but when you use your voice, not when fear and doubt uses your voice, when you use your voice, what difference is made on the planet? And so let's just sit with that for a moment. Let's just have a little breathing space with that, if you don't mind. Just a moment to reflect. And I'll just guide you gently. We'll put this aside for a moment. Just turn within for a moment. And if you would, just drop down to the center of your being. Let your feet fall on the floor. Let it root down like the root at the bottom of a great oak. Just let those feet sink into the earth, if you will. Spine up and erect. If you're comfortable doing so, closing your outer eyes and allowing the palms to just sit upward, gently as if to receive. And let's take the breath, bringing it up from beneath the earth, as if we were pulling up all the nourishment and nurturing from the earth. Bring it up and over above the crown. Hold it at the apex at the top of the breath. And then exhale through the mouth. Same thing, the same cyclical motion, bringing it up from the earth, over and above the crown, holding it at the apex, out through the mouth. Feel the skies above you rising now as you create more and more breathing space for yourself. One more time. Up from beneath, over and above. Hold at the top and let it go. And now enter into the theater of your mind. And look upon the stage of your imagination. Locate yourself. See yourself. And as you find yourself, see yourself standing in a field of green, lush green in every direction. It's beautiful, it's rich, it's full. and there is a strong wind blowing, but it's just strong enough to refresh you. It's just strong enough to energize you. Over above your head, you feel the warmth of the sun, and in that warmth, you feel a calling. There is as though a light ray that's calling you. And in that call, you feel a compulsion, a desire, an impulse to answer, and you throw your arms wide open before the entire universe. You ask the question from the depth of your soul: what is mine to do right now, loving spirit? What is mine to say right now, loving spirit? Take a breath right there, hold it. And experience the infilling of wisdom, experience the infilling of guidance. Experience the surrender of your own soul to this moment, to this place, this space, this time that we're in. And now you're remembering your sacred connection to time. You're remembering that you are a part of the orchestration of the universe to build and co-create a world that works for all. You're remembering that now. Your entire sensorium is filled with the recollection that you are a sacred being, sent, meant. And so now with yourself and with your soul aligned with purpose, you see yourself standing before that same universe in that great lush green field with the light above and all around you. You shout out, "Here am I, send me. Here am I, send me." Feel into that. Feel into the recognition that you are the sent one, the meant one. Feel into that knowingness that you are the way shower, sent as a way shower for such a time as this. Take a moment to sit in that field, undistracted by any of the outer experiences of the world, and fully nurtured and nourished by the lavish abundance that is being displayed before you. Catching your vision, and now your breath. Return to the knowingness as you sit in the lotus position. I am the meant one. I am the sent one. Together, I am the meant one. I am the sent one. One more time. I am the meant one. I am the sent one. With that affirmation, you feel all of the parts of you that were once in conflict now integrating. With every breath, keep breathing. Remember to breathe. All of the frightened parts of your personality now aligning with the assignment of your soul as the meant and sent one. All of the fractured places coming into wholeness. You have found your voice. and it is speaking to you. Hold just a moment the sacred silence. And as we conclude this practice, remain in conscious possession and repossession of your breath. Lock in the vibrational frequency of this breathing space that has been created, and allow it to become the dominant activity of your awareness, knowing that you can return to this moment, this place, this space, this time, as one having authority over the breath. Drop right to the center, and luxuriate in it all. Bringing together the east and west, the hemispheres. Bring the left and right hands together into the center. Merging the sacred self. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and let's greet each other, sacred ones, with the namaste. Namaste. Welcome back. Remember to breathe. I'll give you that question so that even if you do not have breathing space, you can use it as a prompt to reflect on. When you use your voice, what difference is made on the planet?
Thank you, Rev Kevin. Thank you for that healing meditation and for this important conversation today. For anyone that's feeling like they're going through something that is too much, we encourage you to reach out to a helpline, to reach out to your ministry, to reach out to friends and family. We can remember and affirm the scriptural statement, "This too shall pass," and breathe into that knowing and engage ourselves at a deeper level, at a soul level, and ask the big questions. So you reminded us today to really ask the big questions, to really look into more than this moment, but look into our soul authenticity, our soul power, and our purpose of being here on the planet, and to dive in to begin creating our activity on the planet. You encouraged us to move from what we're getting or what we're not getting and to look at what we're giving. When we move into what we're giving and what we're creating, we come alive in a different way. We feel a different part of ourselves, and that can help move from being stuck to unstuck. This week, we're celebrating the season for nonviolence, and in the season for nonviolence this week, the idea is creativity. The worst thing you can do to a human soul is to suppress its natural desire to create. Identify at least 5 ways in which you express your creativity every day. Each day this week allows something unpredictable and joyous to express through you. That is our practice from the season for nonviolence today, which aligns perfectly with this idea of looking at what we're here to be and allowing that creativity to move our energy and to create movement in our world. So thank you everyone today for connecting, for becoming conscious, for having this sacred conversation. Join us for more next week, and you can learn more about AGNT at agnt.today. You can learn about our spiritual centers, and you can also contribute to this new thought organization that creates harmony and unity in our lives and in our world, and creates a world that works for all. Namaste. Hello, everyone in the Zoom room. Anyone that's here, we have just a quick minute for a question, a comment, any thoughts or feedback. So if you're here, go ahead and post a question in the Q&A. Raise your hand and Barbara will bring you onto the screen, or put something in the chat room. Thank you to all who are appreciating today's conversation. We hope that it met you right where you are. I know in my conversation with community members, we have different people that are doing all sorts of things during this pandemic to kind of get out of that stuck place, get out of depression. Like Rev Kev said, some of his folks are calling people to read them the daily word. We have people that are consciously reaching out to anyone that's single or solo and living alone, and just making sure that there is weekly interaction, that there are Zoom parties that they can attend. We have people that are doing kindness rocks. I have a beloved in my community that is every week painting kindness rocks for our kindness rock garden and giving them to people. We have people that are making meals for people that are in hospice. So any community members that we have that are going through difficult times right now, we have a team of people that are actually making home cooked meals and delivering them to those people because they can't actually physically see them. And then we have other people that are pretty strict around their quarantine. And so they're going in to spend time with families in need that are also strict with their quarantine, so that they can get the help and the support they need at this time. So there are so many ways to support ourselves. And we don't always think about, when we're down, we don't always think about what we can give, because it feels like we have nothing to give. It feels like we have no energy. But the truth is, you get the energy when you start circulating.
It looks like there's something in the chat.
There was one question about the title of the book, and I think that's the only question in there. So Kevin will hold up his book so you can see this.
Okay, it's called Breathing Space. It's a 52-week meditation journey for centered, soulful, and successful living. I don't know if I have it where you can see it. A 52-week meditation journey for centered, soulful, and successful living. And it's available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, all those carriers.
Great, thank you, Kevin. And Stephen, you can reach Kevin if you go to unityofsacramento.org. You can hop on there and you'll be able to find his email address and .com. Okay, .com. And Stephen was telling you in the comments that he designed your stole that you wore at the Parliament of World Religions. So that's very cool, Stephen, to know that you.
And Stephen, wait a minute. Hold on, Stephen. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I have a feeling that I'm wearing the stole in one of these images. I swear to you. The book also has these reflection images related to some of the writing. And I think, Stephen, is that your stole? Is that your stole?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome. Stephen, thank you for your gift. You know about creating and circulating your energy. So thanks for blessing all of us that get to be blessed by wearing your creativity around our necks. All right, everyone. Well, it looks like we're good on questions today. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next week. Thanks again, Rev Kev.
You bet. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you.